Welcome to the Peloponnese.
The Peloponnese has all the best of Greece in one compact region, making it perfect for a road trip. You'll find dramatic coastlines, rugged mountains, ancient ruins, medieval fortresses, and beautiful historic villages. In this video, we're going to show you the top 10 things to see on the Peloponnese.
Plus we have a few bonus items as well.
And we are going to start here today with the ancient site of Mycenae.
Or, as the Greeks pronounce it, Mycenae.
Mycenae dates back over 3,000 years. It was one of the most powerful cities in ancient Greece and the home of King Agamemnon, leader of the Greek forces in the Trojan War. Now, it is quite busy here today because it is the third Sunday of the month. Today is the 21st of December, and in winter, the archaeological sites in Greece are free on the first and third Sundays of the month. This was the original entrance gate to the citadel of Mycenae. It was built in 1240 BC. It's called the Lion Gate, but sadly the lions are missing their heads. According to myths, these walls were built by the Cyclops, who were one-eyed giants. I mean, just look at the size. Nigel, come and stand by this block so we can see the size of this block. You know, how would men lift these blocks? This site is very well set up for visitors with quite well-formed paths and steps. So basically, we're just following this path up to the top of these walls. At the very top of the hill here, this is where the palace stood. Crazy to think that we're in a little passage that was built over 3,000 years ago.
Genius of construction.
Yeah. We marvelled at more ancient construction, from doorways to tombs. This was a tomb. It's called a tholos, beehive tomb.
I got an eerie kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, it has.
Amazing though. Look at that lintel up there.
The top part of it has not survived, but there's a good picture of it here on the signboard.
They call that the tholos, the beehive shape, which is since gone. So obviously somebody of very high standing was entombed within that tholos.
Just a short drive down from the main site at Mycenae is the treasury of Atreus. So it is the same ticket. And this tholos is completely intact, also known as the tomb of Agamemnon.
That just blew my mind.
Those doors are just enormous. That was so cool. Nafplio is more than just an excellent place to base yourself to visit the eastern Peloponnese. So Nafplio is said to be one of the prettiest towns in all of Greece.
I tend to agree with that. Yeah, you get lost in these little side alleys and walking streets.
You can really see the influence of the Venetians, not just the winged lion everywhere.
Which are everywhere.
And also a bit of Ottoman influence, because I would dare say that building directly in front of us was once a mosque.
Yeah. Minarets are since gone.
Yeah. Nafplio is also an important marina town. We parked up with at least 20 other camper vans in the large port car park, right next to a couple of $650 million super yachts. And there's a beautiful walk around this promontory. The town is watched over by this Venetian Peloponnese fortress and by lots of cats. The Peloponnese fortress, which looks out over the sea. It's lit up so beautifully at night. The harbour has been protected by this Bortzi castle since the 15th century, and you can take a boat out to the island to visit the fortress. And here's a fun fact about Nafplio. It was actually the first capital of independent Greece. From 1828 to 1834, Epidaurus is best known for its ancient theatre, which is one of the largest and best preserved in the world. The acoustics here are incredible.
Yeah, as you stand here in the middle of the theatre, it's actually really noticeable how much the echo hits you. Yeah, it's crazy.
ChatGPT has given me a couple of lines. We recited a few lines from Greek tragedies. From Sophocles, Antigone. I was born to share in love, not hatred.
Here's a good one. In war, truth is the first casualty. I hear that guy clapping.
Can you imagine 12,000 people? And they actually still use this. I'm not sure exactly whether they do Greek tragedies or some other sort of plays, but they do host plays here every year in the summer. But Epidaurus is more than just the theatre. This is also where there was a big sanctuary for Asclepius, who was the god of healing. So we can also check out the Archaeological Museum while we're here and see some of the ruins of the temple of Asclepius. And so people would come here 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, seeking healing. Obviously, in order to be healed, they would have to make sacrifices or whatever to the god. And so they had temples for the gods here. And this is that circular building, the Tholos, which is where they held the sacrifices to Asclepius. And looks like they're reconstructing it with all this new modern material. If you're planning to visit the Peloponnese and check out the incredible ancient ruins or the beautiful nature, make sure you grab our free Peloponnese road trip checklist. Click the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code on the screen now. It's free. Monemvasia is one of those places we'd never heard of, but one of our Greek friends insisted we had to go there, and we're so glad we did. The town was built on a large sea rock that is attached to the mainland by a narrow causeway. The town's not visible from the land, which gave it a strategic advantage. Apparently, the town was largely in ruins until a few decades ago when people moved back here and started rebuilding. Nigel, you were telling me about the name Monemvasia. What can you tell me?
Supposedly it translates to single entrance. It's just like a natural sort of fortress, isn't it?
Mm. And the fortress up here dates from the Byzantine period, which is the 6th century. There are two parts to Monemvasia: the lower town, which has small alleyways with cafes, stores and churches. Now, I was also reading about the special wine here. It's called Malvasia. We have to find this place. This is the main church in Monemvasia. It's called Christ El Caminos, and it dates from the early Christian period. There's also in this square an archaeological collection. I'm not sure how many churches there are here, but there's a lot. And look at this ruined one. This is the little altar. That's all that there is here now. So we're trying to get, there's some stairs that lead up there. And then at the top of these stairs, there's another gate and a tunnel. And I think when we go through there, we're at the upper town.
It's like double wall, isn't it?
Yeah. The upper town is largely in ruins, except for the Holy Church of Hagia Sophia. This is the Church of Hagia Sophia, which means holy knowledge in Greek. And it is a copy of Hagia Sophia in Istanbul. This was built in the 12th or 13th century. After the Greek independence in 1821, it was reconsecrated as a church.
Lost his head.
And the church is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it's free to enter. After the church, we walked further uphill to the very top of the citadel. Now, about that wine tasting.
Welcome, my friends. So here in Monemvasia, you can find the legendary wine Malvasia, which is rebirthed after 600 years, geographical protected wine designation of this origin. We have white grapes, we put to the sun for 2 weeks, and then we age them for 2 years in oak barrel. So for that wine, 80 gold medals around the world.
So it's like a dessert wine.
It's a dessert wine, it's a sweet wine, and it is in the list of the best port wines now all over the world.
It's like a...
nice, isn't it?
It's like a...
Like port.
Port, yeah, like port.
It is another beautiful day here on the Peloponnese. Today we are coming to check out Mystras. Mystras is a Byzantine fortified town built on a steep hillside just outside Sparti, the modern town built on the site of ancient Sparta. There's a few ruins to show where the ancient city was, and a statue of King Leonidas, who led the 300 warriors against the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae. Mystras is a complex of monasteries, churches and ruins that's worth wandering through. Even the entrance is impressive. This site has actually been on the UNESCO World Heritage List since 1989.
It was the Franks that founded this place back in 1249. But they only had it for like 2 decades before the Byzantines, during the Battle of Pelagonia, took it over.
This city of Mystras was an important centre for art, learning. This book is from the 14th century, and this one is from 1432, and this one is from 1652. Here comes another one. I swear, Nigel will stop and pat every cat. Just walked into this church and there's a fellow working here on the frescoes. So we've driven just a couple of kilometres further uphill and now we're going to walk up to that part of the castle. So the one ticket, which cost us €20, covers both the area down below and this area up here as well. The fortress seemed even more ruined, but it was cool to climb to the top and walk along the walls. The views were breathtaking. We loved the Mani Peninsula. This region is remote and rugged. The Mani is dramatic landscapes, quiet villages and winding coastal roads past abandoned stone towers. The town of Areopoli has narrow streets, historic stone houses and a surprisingly lively cafe and restaurant scene. It just keeps getting cuter and cuter. Further south lies Varthia. This is one of the most iconic villages in all of the Peloponnese. It's now pretty much a ghost town and it's made up of all of these stone towers. Nowadays, most of them are completely abandoned. The place is almost entirely occupied by cats.
You're a character, you are.
you reckon, Kat? Staying here gives you sweeping views and unforgettable sunsets over one of the most atmospheric places in Greece. And at the southern tip of the peninsula, you can hike to the remote lighthouse and the mythological entrance to the underworld. Nigel even swam in the sea here in December. Check out our full video on the Mani Peninsula for more. Behind me is one of the most impressive stadiums in all of ancient Greece, and hardly anybody knows about it. Ancient Messini was found in the 4th century BC and was one of the most important cities in classical Greece. Its ruins include city walls, temples, a theatre, and even a stadium, giving a fascinating glimpse into life here over 2,000 years ago. Today we've come to another archaeological site, and this is one of the lesser known archaeological sites, not just here on the Peloponnese, but in all of Greece, and it's called Messini. We spent a good couple of hours exploring the site. Fortunately, there are signs in English all around. This site is just so extensive. Yeah, it's just one surprise after another. This is the ancient stadium of Messini that was built in the 4th century, and it was built when the Messenians finally won their freedom after centuries under Spartan rule. It's 180 metres long, which is a standard length for a stadium in ancient Greece. Nobody actually knows how many people could sit and spectate here, but it's estimated at somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000.
Keep running.
These rows of columns here were part of a colonnade that would have had a roof over the top, leading spectators and the athletes into the stadium. It's interesting to read here about how this funeral monument, grave monument, has been reconstructed. You can see there them putting it back together. Putting that conical thing on top of it. So this also looks like a theatre. This is called the Ecclesiasterion, and they held cult practices here and political gatherings. Last stop was the theatre, which was built into the hillside. Safe to say we were really impressed with Messini. If you drive just a little bit further along, you can see these old walls, fortifications.
Oh, get sick of those words.
Look at this, it's just beautiful. It wouldn't be Greece without a beach. Voyathekalea Beach is one of the most beautiful beaches we've ever seen, shaped almost perfectly like an omega symbol. This beach is on the west coast of the Peloponnese on the Navarino Coast. You won't find beach bars, umbrellas and lounges here. It's peaceful and beautiful. Nearby the beach is the Gialova Lagoon, home to an abundance of bird life, including a flamboyance of flamingos. For the best views of the beach, hike up to the ruined Navarino Fortress, or Palio Castro. Oh, this is so cool. This hike is challenging if you go from the beach, but it's so worth it. Methone is a relaxed coastal town with a small beach, waterfront tavernas and a slower pace that makes it an easy place to stop and explore. It's best known for the impressive castle that stretches right out onto the sea, with stone walls, towers and a bridge over the moat. It was built from the 15th to 18th centuries by the Venetians. You'll see plenty of winged lions in the stonework. There's also a smaller fortification on an island at the end of the cape. You can see more of the Navarino Coast and Methoni in our West Coast Peloponnese vlog. 3,000 odd years of history right here. No trip to the Peloponnese would be complete without a visit to ancient Olympia, the birthplace of the Olympic Games. The ancient Olympics was begun in 776 BC, and like today, the Games took place every 4 years. At this site you can see the Temple of Zeus, where one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the statue of Zeus, once stood. The Temple of Hera is where the Olympic flame was lit, and that tradition continues even to today. Your €20 entry fee also covers entrance to the Archaeological Museum, which houses many of the statues from the Temple of Zeus, and the Olympics Museum. We did a full tour on our trip to Olympia, and there's a link in the description.
Okay, we promised you a few bonus places. Here's 3.
Pylos is a beautiful town between Methoni and Voithakalea Beach. It's well worth stopping here for lunch at one of the tavernas and having a walk around the town. And this place also has a castle. And if you really like ruins, we can recommend visiting Argos. This is a really underdeveloped site, and we were the only ones here. So this is the ancient theatre of Argos. It's so very different from the theatre at Epidaurus. It's still huge, although we can't see a lot of it. Apparently it could seat 20,000 spectators. And what's really impressive about this one is it's carved out of the rocks.
Oh, old Danny boy, old Danny.
It's quite steep, isn't it?
This is actually really cool because it's so unkempt.
Yeah, yes. I love it.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Hey,
This is so good.
hey hop. You right there? You're good.
Above the town of Argos is the Larissa Fortress. This place is free to enter, and it's worth heading up there for the drive alone. Wow. We hope you've enjoyed this look at our favourite places on the Peloponnese. We've put together an extensive Peloponnese road trip travel guide, whether you're exploring in a camper van like us or in a car and staying in local accommodation along the way. The guide includes detailed 7 and 14-day itineraries and a fully interactive Google map with over 100 pins to help you navigate your way around. Scan the QR code on the screen now or click the link in the description of this video to get your copy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.